Did you ever do something that you really don't want to do and you knew going into it that it's probably a bad idea, may even be pointless and a waste of time, but you just felt the need to do it anyway? Well, that's where I'm at today. You know, there is a lot of other things I would rather be doing than talking about what we're going to discuss today, but I just feel that I need to say it. I do. And you know, we're all sick and tired of politics. We are. Between all the ads, the mailers, the text messages, people fighting back and forth, it's just a big mess. It really is. But the good news is we only have a week and a half of this left until another 4 years down the road. And it's my opinion that what we're going to talk about today, believe it or not, is way more important than me running the sawmill or cutting firewood or going down to the cabin. Any one of those things that I would rather be doing, I'm going to put all that aside and we're going to have a little discussion here. Now, I want to start with, I'm 58 years old, and I want to kind of explain how I arrived to the point where I'm at in my life right now. Someone once said, I think it was Mark Twain, it's easier to fool someone than to convince them they have been fooled. So my point of this video is not to convince anyone to do anything differently than they already have planned, because that's nearly impossible to do. My point is just to let you know where I stand, how I arrived at the point I am right now, and why I have made the decision that I have made. You know, when we make decisions, we do that by taking in a certain amount of information. And once you feel that you have gotten enough information, you form an opinion or you make a decision. That's how we decide everything, and that's how we pick political candidates. That's how we decide, you know, where we're going to go out to dinner. You take all the information that you think you need and you make that decision. Like I said, it's easier to fool someone than to convince them they have been fooled. I was fooled for many years. I was. Back in the day, like when George Bush, I voted for George Bush, both of them. And I was all on board, I was. And after 9/11, you know, I was waving the flag. I was all for them going to Iraq. I was all for them going to Afghanistan. And I remember a lot of people that thought that was a bad idea, and I thought they were crazy. I did. I said, we got to go get them, and I still believe that. But over the years, took me a long time to figure it out, I realized how stupid we were as a country the way we did that. You know, let's look at Afghanistan, for example. We were in Afghanistan for 20 years, and when we went into Afghanistan, the Taliban controlled a small part of Afghanistan. After 20 years and losing 1,500 good people on our side over there, spending well over $1 trillion, what did we get? We got, the Taliban is now in control of the entire country, and you know, we left billions and billions of dollars worth of military equipment. Matter of fact, about a month or so ago, the Taliban had a parade with all of our equipment that we left there on display. And, you know, I knew long before that what a screw up that really was. And I just don't like war, you know, I don't. It seems as though anytime there's a war, you got your Putins, excuse me, your Zelenskys, all those guys are still there, you know, they're still doing their thing, they're raking in money, and just innocent people on both sides are dying every day for what? Nothing. I don't like war, and it seems as though our current administration is all for it. And what's weird to me is it's like a reversal. You know what I mean? When the Republicans were in power, the Democrats seemed to be against war. And I was one of the Republicans, and I thought they were crazy. We need to go get these guys. Now, the Democrats are in power, and they are all for it, and I don't understand it. Now, my opinion on this changed before the Democrats came to power, and I remember when Trump ran the first time, and I'll be honest, when he first came onto the scene that he was running for president, I didn't get it at all. I didn't. I had a lot of friends that were jumping on board the Trump train and all that stuff. I remember a Facebook post that I made one time. It said, I said something like, I just don't get it. He talks and talks and doesn't say anything. But I voted for Donald Trump because him or Hillary Clinton, I mean, come on, you know? So I voted for Trump. And you know what? Up until COVID, he had a good run. He really did. And if you choose to ignore that, that's up to you. But he had a pretty good presidency and things were pretty well. Now, when COVID came, I don't think anyone knew at the beginning what was really going on. All the stimulus stuff, all that stuff, I don't agree with any of that. But I think all in all, Trump had a good presidency, and I think he was good for the country. And, you know, when I first started thinking about Donald Trump as a president, like I said, I wasn't sure. And then I started to listen to the media, like most of us do, and I would hear the things they said about him, telling me what somebody said. Well, I'm the kind of guy, I actually go look and see what somebody said. I don't trust them, not at all. And the more you dig into things, the more you figure things out. And that's what they're banking on, is people not putting in the work. You know, they just put headlines out there, and this is what helps form people's opinions on somebody. Nobody really hated Donald Trump until he decided to run for president. Then all of a sudden he became, you know, one of the most hated men in the world. A good example of this, and this is a big one. If you remember at Charlottesville, Donald Trump said there were very fine people on both sides. Now, Joe Biden, he has repeated that line hundreds of times. I think every major speech that he ever made, he said Donald Trump said there were very fine people on both sides, like he was calling the neo-Nazis and white supremacists very fine people. And I couldn't believe that he said that, you know? So I read the exact quote and I watched what Donald Trump said with his own words. The very next line after he said that, he said, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white supremacists. But it doesn't matter. They keep repeating the same thing over and over again. And like I said, Biden has repeated that phrase over and over again. Matter of fact, he said that's why he claimed he ran for president, is because Donald Trump said there were very fine people on both sides. And the media is so corrupt, they will never correct it. You know, the very next line, and everybody's in cahoots. I even asked ChatGPT that very question. I said, did Donald Trump say there are very fine people on both sides, talking about neo-Nazis and white supremacists? And ChatGPT said yes, and it was very controversial. So I asked the question, I go, well, didn't he clarify that? ChatGPT said later on, Trump clarified he wasn't talking about the white supremacists or neo-Nazis. It wasn't later on, it was the very next sentence, okay? So we're just fed. Everything that we're told is nonsense, and you have to dig deep to find the truth. Bottom line is this: I have been watching and learning and investigating on my own as much as I possibly can over the years. Because like I said, I was fooled once for many years. And you know, today I have people saying, well, Dick and Liz Cheney are voting for Donald Trump. And they act like that's something that would sway me to the other side. That just confirms that I'm on the right side. You know what I'm saying? So if you tell me Dick Cheney's voting for Kamala Harris, and Kamala, I don't know how to say her name. I had a guy tell me the other day I was racist for saying Kamala. I don't know how to say it right, if that's not right, and I don't care. It is, you can call me anything you want. People do. I'm gonna call her Kamala, so whatever. But yeah, Dick Cheney's voting for her. That just confirms I'm on the right side. And like I said, nothing is true. And I started watching Trump on some of these podcasts, and he is like the most normal, down-to-earth guy. I used to read the Drudge Report years ago, and it was a right-leaning website. If you were to read that today, you would swear Trump is Satan. You know what I mean? Something changed there. I don't know if they got bought or what, but I don't believe anything. And I honestly believe, without a shadow of a doubt, we have an opportunity here And I would say not even a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I would say once in American history's opportunity to right the ship. And I'm not saying it's a guarantee if Trump is elected by any means, because we're in a lot of trouble. I mean a lot of trouble. We got a lot of debt. We do, you know? And every election, since I can remember, are politicians promising us to fix all the problems that they created. They won't admit they created the problems. Like Kamala Harris, she wants to build 3 million homes because there is a housing shortage. Well, there's a housing shortage because we've let 15 or 20 million people into the country illegally. So we don't have enough houses. You know what I mean? And now she's going to fix the problem that she helped create by building 3 million houses. And on a side note, we have given Ukraine $175 billion, which is enough money to build 500,000 $350,000 homes. So that's a lot of homes. There's a deer running out through the food plot there. 500,000 homes we could build for what we have given to Ukraine. Now picture Beaver Stadium at Penn State. I think it holds over 100,000 people. Fill that 5 times. Every person in there, new $350,000 house. Our country is broke. And no, it's worse than that. It would be good if we were just broke. We are actually almost $36 trillion less than broke. Worse off. You know what I mean? And that's not going to last forever. You know, that's the other thing. Kamala wants to stop price gouging, and that's going to solve all our problems. Are there companies out there that probably try to price gouge? I'm sure there are. But the problem is spending money we don't have. It causes inflation. You can deny it all you want. You can point fingers. That's the main driver here, you know? And now, like I said, she's going to solve the problem that she helped create. And I'm just tired of it. Donald Trump, now hear me out here. He can't do it all, you know? And like I said, there's a chance. RFK Jr., I used to think the guy's a nut job, but there are a few things that he is spot on about, in my opinion. One is all the crap that's in our foods. You know, autism rates in children. I have a son with autism. The vaccines, if you could get a guy like RFK to focus on that, a guy like Elon Musk to stop government waste and spending. The only way we survive as a country long term is if we greatly reduce the federal government. It grows every year, and it's just like this bloated, I don't even know what you'd call it. It just keeps growing and evolving. But RFK on the food, the vaccinations, Elon Musk on finding and cutting government waste. It's my opinion that you could cut the federal budget by 30% and none of us would ever bat an eye. You wouldn't even know, you know? But you get those two. You've got Tulsi Gabbard. She doesn't like war, you know? Who does? The military-industrial complex, they like war because they make crap tons of money by people getting killed all over the world. And we need to keep our nose out of other people's business. And like I said, these are all my opinions. Vivek Ramaswamy, the guy's brilliant. If you start looking at some of the people that could be and have already promised to be part of the Trump administration, we could really have an opportunity here to turn things around. We could. If you want more of the same, if you want, you know, more debt, more spending, more illegal immigrants, vote for Kamala Harris. If you want to save the country, and you know, you always hear this is the most important election of our lifetime. This one is. It really is. We could really turn the tides and straighten things out. And I want you to know something. I have never in my life, and this is the truth, voted for what I thought was in my best interest. It's probably not the right way to look at it. I have always voted for what I thought, and I was wrong sometimes, but what I thought was what was in the best interest of everybody in the country. And you know, for all the haters out there, you would not believe some of the emails and comments that I get, like when I went to the Trump rally where he was almost assassinated. You wouldn't believe it. And some people are just sick. But when you think about it, 100,000 people see that video. I'll get 10 or 15 emails and maybe 15 or 20 comments from people that are just plain nasty. So I think the majority of those people, it's small. The real crazy ones, hopefully. But I do think there's a lot of people that are going to vote for Kamala Harris, and they think they have accumulated enough information to make that decision, you know? But if you take emotion out of the equation, just forget about emotion. Forget how mad you get when you see a Trump sign driving down the road or a Trump bumper sticker, and just start looking into things, man. That's all you got to do. Start doing the math. You know, when I'm watching a debate or I read something, I pull out my phone, I start adding it up. I look at the numbers. Everything is numbers. And you got to turn your phone sideways because the numbers are so big. I remember Joe Biden in a debate talking about raising the corporate tax rate, and it would generate $500 billion over 10 years. We spend $500 billion like in a couple weeks. It's nothing. Do the math, do your own research, inform your own opinion, and try to keep your emotions out of it and make the best decision you can for your children and your grandchildren. I'll be honest, I'm 58. I can coast to the finish line at this point, if need be. I do worry about my kids and my grandkids, but I could coast to the finish line at this point. It's not about me. People talk about taxes. Oh, you just want tax breaks or what? That is another one of the biggest lies we have ever been told. Are tax breaks for the rich is what causes our problems. I did the math once again. There's probably a little over 1,000 billionaires in the United States right now. You could take every penny that they have, sell every asset that they have, all their yachts, their houses, their furniture, their underwear. You could sell it all from all the billionaires in the United States, and you could run the federal government for about 6.5 or 7 months. So what's the plan after that? Half the people out there don't have to pay any federal income tax right now. And they just try to get us fighting with one another. You know what I mean? Blame it on the rich. Blame it on corporate greed. It's the other thing I was wrong about for years. I remember the Democrats always used to complain about corporations. And, you know, I didn't have a dog in the fight, but I just didn't see it. I'm like, they're out to make money. You know, they make products. People buy them. I look at things differently now. I do. I think there's a lot of corruption in these corporations. Especially like in the food industry, like I said, the military, industrial complex. There's a lot of corruption in the world. And I think, without a doubt, it took me 58 years to figure this out. I have. And like I said, initially, I was not a Donald Trump fan. Not at all. Just didn't get it. And I'm going to vote for Donald Trump, and I hope a lot of other people do, and I hope he wins in a landslide. I have no idea. I can't get a feel for things this time around. I think it's either going to be a Trump landslide or Kamala wins by a hair. It all depends. Like where I live, the state of Pennsylvania is extremely important. I mean, extremely important for this election. It really is. Now, you know, I'm doing something right now that I don't want to do, and I'm going to ask you guys to do something at the end of this video that I want you to do. And I really need you to do this. I do. And like I said, I have tried throughout this video to not attack anyone. If you're going to send me nasty emails or nasty comments, you better bring your A game, okay? Because I know I have done my homework. I've done my research. Bottom line is this: you can't believe anything you see or hear in the state-run media. And that's what I'm calling it now, the state-run media. Anything they say, you can look up and you'll get 20 different articles that are almost written exactly the same. And they always try to paint Donald Trump in a bad light. And you know, when I see comments, this is one that's going to offend some people. I would never vote for somebody with 34 felonies. I see that quite often, and I honestly can't take those people seriously. If you can't see what's going on there, there's no hope for you. There's just not. I looked this up as well. Do you know it is nearly statistically impossible to become a convicted felon for the first time after the age of 75? In other words, most people that commit felonies are between the ages of 18 and 30 years old. From there on up, it goes down, drops, drops, drops. You get to the age 75, there's hardly anyone that gets convicted of a felony after the age of 75 for the first time. It just doesn't happen. People don't go through life for 7.5 decades and think, oh, I'm going to start breaking the law. It just doesn't happen. And then you look at the prosecutors that literally based their election, you know, their campaign was on getting Donald Trump. You know, you look at that and you look at 34 convicted felonies, and it was one misdemeanor that they were able to turn into a felony. If you can't understand what's going on here, like I said, there's no hope for those people at all. It is so obvious to me and anyone that pays attention what's going on. So why vote for a convicted felon? Absolutely, and I hope you do too. What else do they always talk about? Yeah, that one is the big one though, the convicted felon. It's nearly statistically impossible to become a convicted felon after the age of 75 for the first time. It really is. It's almost impossible, but it happens, so you have to ask yourself, why did that happen? And it's very obvious to anyone paying attention or that doesn't choose to ignore it, what is really going on there. I must have been rambling on kind of long. I had to change the battery in the camera, but trust me, I'm going to wrap this up soon. I just have to make a few more important points. And at the end of this video, like I said, I'm going to ask you to do something. One of the reasons I did this video, I was at the Donald Trump rally, Butler, Pennsylvania, July 13th, when he was almost assassinated. And there was a guy in the crowd that was killed. And I wanted to go to the second rally when he came back to Butler, and I had never been to anything like that before. That was my first experience. Wasn't a good experience, but I wanted to go to the second one, and I was down at the cabin that day. I was working on that tongue and groove, and I had my whole day planned. I was trying to come home, get to the rally. Melissa was at a wedding shower, and I was talking to some people that were up there, and it was just packed. And I kind of regretted not going. I mean, you can watch it on X, which is what I did, but I just kind of wanted to show my support by going. I don't know how the guy does it. I mean, he is much older than me, and the energy level that Donald Trump has, I can't even wrap my head around it. I can't. He just goes and goes, and I don't know how he does it. I think I can hang pretty well, you know. I sleep about 5-6 hours a night. I'm up early. I stay busy all day. I could never maintain the schedule that he does. He's on a whole nother level. But anyway, at that second rally, Elon Musk was there, and I was listening to it on X, and he kind of drove home the importance of voting, because there's a lot of people out there that think it doesn't make a difference. And this election, I'm convinced, beyond a shadow of a doubt, this is a once in American history, the most important election. It really is. You know, Republicans and Democrats, they're pretty much all the same. They really are. That'll offend some people. And like I said, if you're offended, you choose to be offended. That is not my intention. I've mostly always voted for Republicans, but I have learned so much over the years. They're both crooked. They're both corrupt. Yes, Donald Trump has an R by his name, but I think we can all agree he is unlike anything we have ever seen before when it comes to being a president. And he is not a perfect man. There's not a perfect man out there. But with Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr., we have a chance. We really do have a chance. And I think Trump learned a lot of lessons with his first presidency. You know, I don't think he knew going into it how corrupt Washington is. And I think he has it figured out now. I mean, they have tried everything, literally everything, to get rid of Donald Trump. You know, you start off by trying to slander the guy, you make things up about him, you try to bankrupt him. They've tried that. They've tried to imprison him. They've tried to kill him. They have tried everything. And I just hope we can get through the next couple weeks and the whole presidency without somebody else doing something stupid. I really hope we can do that for all our sakes. And I know over the next couple weeks, I've been preparing for a long time. I have no idea what I'm preparing for, but I do know this. In less than 2 weeks, almost half the country is going to be very upset with the other half, you know? And most of us are normal people that don't wish harm on anybody, but there's some nut jobs out there. And you know, something about me that you won't believe, even the haters on our channel, and you get them, you're on the internet, people say nasty stuff. People tell me, you know, I've lost all respect for you because I went to the Trump rally. Their respect wasn't something that I was looking for or trying to achieve. I just do what I do. I am who I am. Like it, hate it, whatever. I don't care. You know, this is me. The older you get, the less and less you care what other people think. I'm honest in my dealings with people. I help others, and I am what I am, you know. But even the haters out there, I wish good things for them. I do. I want everyone to do well. I don't care who you are. I want all your dreams to come true. I want you to be able to succeed in life, because when that happens, when things are good for everybody, everybody's happy. It just keeps getting better. I don't want this country to be to the point where it is, because it's just going to get worse. And what I mean, like I said, each election they promise to fix the problems they created. And so many people are jumping up and down. Like Kamala Harris, if you don't think the media influences people, explain this to me. So anyone out there that's going to post a nasty comment, I want you to explain something first. How did a woman who 4 years ago couldn't get over 3% of the vote in the Democrat primary become the greatest person that's going to save America in 4 years? How did that happen if you aren't influenced by the media? I mean, it's a valid question, isn't it? Like, she was one of the most unliked people in DC, and now she's supposed to be the greatest. And I have to give the credit where credit is due, you know? The way they did all this was brilliant. It is. Now, we all knew, if you chose not to ignore it, Joe Biden was struggling for a very long time. Getting worse, you know. He had good days and bad days, but he's just not there anymore. I feel bad for the guy. I really do. I never thought, I do feel bad for Joe Biden. But they forced him out, you know, and they waited just long enough. Matter of fact, I think they scheduled that first debate early enough. It was earlier than it has ever been, and they knew they were running out of time. So they put old Joe out there, and he had a very bad showing. He really did. And then they forced Joe out. Nancy Pelosi was kind of bragging about it. And then they just insert Kamala Harris. You know, so what that did, if they would have done all this sooner, RFK would have been in play there. And they knew that. You know what I mean? They don't like RFK. So it's pretty brilliant how they did all this and just kind of selected Kamala Harris. Here's your candidate, and tell you how great she is, and everybody gets on board. I don't understand how people fall for it, but obviously a lot of people do. But anyway, I've been going on long enough. I think I'm pretty clear on where I stand. And now, what I want you to do, if you don't mind, I would like you to share this video with as many people as you possibly can. I think I did a decent job. I'll have to watch the video. I don't even know what I was saying half the time, but I think I did a decent job at coming at this at a little different angle than most. But basically, to wrap it up, you can't believe everything you see and hear. You know what I mean? And you've got to put in the work no matter what you're doing. Whether you're picking a political candidate, whatever you're doing, you've got to put in the work. And you can't just listen to what they tell you to believe, because most of it is not true. Donald Trump is not a perfect man. None of us are. I believe beyond a shadow of a doubt, we have a chance. A chance. And it's a good chance, but it's just a chance to actually turn things around in this country, where each election cycle we aren't trying to fix problems that the government created. You know, we have to quit spending so much money. We have to reduce the size of the federal government, and we have to quit relying on them. You know, everything they do, they screw up. And I know there's a few things that they do right. I mean, if you spend $7 trillion a year, you're going to get a couple things right. Look at student loans, for example. You know, tuition started to increase years ago. So the government steps in, and they're going to lend kids basically any amount of money for any type of degree. Now, these are kids, nothing against them, but they would not qualify for a used car loan on an '84 Honda Civic, yet they would lend them $200,000 for some degree, right? You know that's not going to work out. So sure enough, the kids can't pay back the loans. Now we have to have student loan forgiveness. It's insane. It's just completely insane. We have strayed so far from the intent of this country, how things started off, and we got to go back. Everyone says, oh, you don't want to go back? I want to go back. I do. Because the path we're on is Venezuela. There's no getting around it. People don't think bad things can happen if they have never experienced them in their life before. So we have never had a total collapse here in the country, so they don't think it's possible here. What makes us so special? Can we just keep blowing money that we don't have and printing money and borrowing more money? A lot of people think we can. I don't believe that we can. I don't. It's not going to work out. I don't know when that's going to happen, but I do know this. When things go south, it takes a long time. Goes real slow until it goes real fast, and it'll happen overnight. We won't even know what hit us. So like I said, one of the things I'm asking you guys to do is to share this video, and I know some people are uncomfortable doing that, but go through your contact list, send it on your phone, share it via email, and see what you can do to convince people to put emotions aside, do their own homework, and vote on November 5th, okay? It's so important this time. It really is. And like I said, share this video. And also, if you don't mind, hit the subscribe button. I'll probably lose 200 subscribers on this video, and I don't care. If somebody gets mad about the way, the other day I mentioned I went to see Elon Musk. I lost 25 subscribers on that video, but I gained 100 for the day. So that's a win-win right there. I think that's about it. I've been rambling on long enough. I need to go edit this video to even see what I said. I was just kind of rambling there, but I think I got my point across. I hope I didn't miss anything. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all the loyal subscribers that don't hate people for their beliefs and what they stand for. I appreciate that. There's still a lot of us out there. And I'll say one more thing. Every small business owner that I know, yeah, everyone that I know is voting the same way I am. So what does that tell you? It's got to tell you something, right? I think so. But anyway, appreciate y'all being here. Share the video with your friends. Share them with people who aren't your friends. I don't care. Have a great day. We'll catch you on the next one.